Hey y'all, in this video we're going to take a look at the SQL Server Coalesce function. Now there's two reasons you care about this function. One, you can use it to either trap or avoid errors, and number two, you can use it to format your output result sets. Now I'm going to walk you through the syntax, and then at the end I'm going to show you a real world example. Now let's get to work. Here I am in SSMS and I have all of our Transact SQL already typed out, so you don't have to watch me type. But let me first by just saying a little bit about the syntax of the Coalesce function. Now this is right from Microsoft SQL Server documentation. It basically says that Coalesce will give you the first value in a set of arguments that is not null. All right, so, and even right out of the documentation, you basically say select Coalesce, you put brackets around a list of arguments with a comma in between. So in this case, it's saying coalesce, null, null, third value, fourth value. When we run this guy, it'll skip over this, say, aha, here's the first one, and it puts in third value. Now, why does that matter, right? Well, it's a good example of syntax, but it's not a good example of what happens in the world when you're either doing Transact SQL, you're trying to report on some data and you want to format data in a certain way. And that's what we're going to walk through. So the first example, I'm going to show you when you're building strings using either a plus sign, or when you're doing a concatenate, that this coalesce function can sometimes come in handy. So in my Transact SQL, I'm going to comment this guy out first. And then I've set up some variables. It's just variable 1, 2, 3. And then I have a separate variable to combine them. So the idea is I've got this program and I've got these data sets and I've got 3 variables and I want to combine them. All right. So first I declare the variables, then I set values to the variables. So var1 is going to be hello. var2 is going to be null. var3 is going to be world. All right, so hello, null, world. So what happens when we combine the string hello with null with hello? Well, that's this code right here. Set variable combined equals var1 plus var2 plus var3. And then all this is, there's a comment here to print, and then it should show us the, oops, I got to execute the whole script here. So option 1, if I just do option 1, it's going to give you a great big blank, right? Now what happened? Well, as soon as it tried to convert the two strings, put the two strings together with a null, it just said null plus anything is nothing, right? You can't put together a null. And so it didn't give us an error, but the output is an error. This is not normally the desired output, right? You would think you would get something like hello, maybe a blank or something like that, and then world, or even throw me an error, but don't just put blank, all right? So that is a problem, right? This null sometimes sneaks into report formatting or into your variables as you're building them, and then you get these weird outputs or weird results that you can't figure out what's happening. Now, let's go to option number 2, which is to combine the variables using a concatenate function. All right, so concatenate, we're going to say, all right, this time take the var1, var2, and var3 and concatenate them and put a dash in between and print it out. So let's look at the difference when we just use concat. All right, so the first option is still showing blank. Option 2 says hello, dash, and then there's this blank dash world. Now, sometimes that is all you need, right? You just, null is blank and you want, that's fine if it's formatted that way. But sometimes you want to have an indication that maybe it was left blank or whatnot. And so that option 3, I'm going to show you when we use coalesce what that will do. So I'm still doing concatenate variable 1, 2, and 3, but this time around we're going to coalesce at var2. And what this says is if at var2 has a value, give me the value. Otherwise, literally give me the string blank. So let's run this guy and look at the difference. So option 3 now, it gives us hello plus it replaces null with blank and then it prints out world. All right. So that's sort of the syntax because what I want you to see, and this is kind of a silly example, but what I want you to see is how it works. Now let me go to a data formatting, or actually it's over here in this view, where we're trying to give a result set to a customer, right? One of our clients, someone in the business. And I want you to see, notice this color column, right? So there's some values in here. Most of it has values, but sometimes it says null, right? So what I've done is I've set up coalesce statements to show you different options that you might give your customers instead of having that null be in there, right? Because one of the big problems with null, at least for me, is if I leave data formatted in a null, where it actually prints null, and then I put that into a spreadsheet, literally it types in Excel. When I export it to Excel or bring it, copy and paste it into Excel, it literally pastes that word null into all of the cells, and that's a problem for me. So I'd rather either say none or have it literally be blank, right? So how did I do that? Well, that's right up here in the SSMS pane here where this is color, just the way it comes out of the table. This is coalesce to say, if you've got a color, give me the color. If you don't have a color, give me the word none. And then this column says, all right, coalesce, again, color, but this time I want you to give me a blank instead of the word none. So that's why this row, you see, no matter what, there's a value in there. So whether I'm saying none or blank, it skips over that because the first thing it comes to is the value in the field color is black. So it gives us that value because it's the first argument it came to in the list that had a value that wasn't null. Well, when you get to row, or what is this, product ID 806, it comes and says, oh, boom, the first argument, which is color, is null. Skip over that. Let's go to the next one. Oh, the next one, well, in this case, it's none, so it puts none in it. But in this case, it is blank, right? So you're never going to put all three of these in a report, right? This is for an example for you to see the different options that you would have that you might use in a coalesce when outputting data in a certain format. The last thing I want to show you, and because I was kind of struggling with wanting to make sure that I give you a real world example, so I went to some of our code in our data quality metrics and I pulled out this snippet, and basically what this does, you see the coalesce function right here. It says coalesce the max on the metric run. All right, so if there's a max on the metric run, give us that. Otherwise, give us 0. Why do we do that? Well, the very first time you run the metrics in one of our metrics programs, there's nothing there, right? It's null. And so this would actually bomb if we didn't have the coalesce in there, right? Because we're saying select the max metric one, the max that's null, right? So we're going to have a problem because the next line says add 1 to it. Well, you can't add 1 to null, right? So we give it a value of 0 so that first metric one, 0 plus 1, 1. All right, that's it. That's the real world. And there you have it. Now, I hope this video has been helpful to you. Hope you have a great day and God bless.